Thank you very much. Good afternoon. This is Jim Canfield from Champion Solutions Group down in Boca Raton, Florida. Thank you all for joining today. You've got myself and Adam Steenwick from Microsoft. Adam is the Senior Product Manager for Active Directory Premium in the Azure environment. We're going to do our very best not to PowerPoint you to death, so feel free to ask any questions through the chat window. We will respond to them as quickly as we can. And without further ado, we're going to get kicked off. A little bit on the agenda. We've tried to break this down into three areas. Obviously, we're going to tell you a little bit about Champion, a little bit what we're trying to get accomplished here today. Number two, we're going to go through a reasonably short presentation deck. And finally, in about 25 minutes or so, I intend to turn the reins over to Adam, who will actually take us through a live Azure Active Directory Premium environment. And what we're trying to do is leave the last 10, 15, whatever minutes of the hour for specific questions. So without further ado, a little bit about Champion. 35 years old. We're Microsoft Gold Competency Partner in multiple areas. We have been focused on our cloud offerings and cloud solutions with Microsoft for the last 4 years. Company as a whole, we moved from Lotus Notes, Siebel, etc., to Dynamics CRM, Office 365, etc. So, and in the last couple of years, we're very proud of our capabilities related to infrastructure, software as a service, and we're one of the top Office 365 partners in the world, having helped migrate over 2 million mailboxes, and currently we have clients with about 1.4 million partners of record. We are the owner of a company called MessageOps. For those of you in the Office 365 world, you've probably heard of them. We build a bunch of very labor-saving utilities in the Office 365 world. With that, Adam, I know you were having some PC problems. How you doing?
Wonderful. Okay, so thanks everyone for taking the time today, and thanks Jim for the great introduction. I think that a lot of what Jim said is absolutely true, and I myself have gone to 3 or 4 conferences in the last few months, and I see a lot of excitement about this cloud identity management stuff. So what I'd like to show you real quick is, hey, what does this actually look like running? So I'm going to cover, some of the stuff that Jim talked about. I'll also kind of expand a little bit on some of the features that Jim mentioned. I like to have this be interactive. So if there are questions, feel free to type them, and we can answer them as we go through this. So I know that Jim wanted an open section for Q&A, and we'll continue to do that. But feel free to let me know if there's other things I can help you with as we go through this. So I'm here at the Windows Azure Management Portal. If you have an Azure subscription, you're probably familiar with what this looks like. And you might notice that actually a lot of the extra stuff that's associated with normal Azure subscription is not there. So like, for example, you don't see VMs, you don't see storage accounts, all that kind of good stuff here. That's because this is actually an Azure subscription that's associated only with my Azure AD Premium account. So we actually allow you to use the Azure portal for no cost if you're using AD Premium, and so that's why you only see the Active Directory tab here and not any of the other things. So if you see here, at the top level, we have a number of different capabilities. If you're familiar with ACS, we allow you to create and manage your ACS namespaces here. You can set up multi-factor auth right at the top level. You can also set up Cloud RMS. So if you have the requirement to protect your documents, for example, we let you configure templates and how that works straight from the cloud, so you don't have to do so via PowerShell or other more difficult means. So a pretty cool scenario there. But really all of the meat of this is when we drill down into a particular directory. What you'll notice here is that actually I have multiple directories, right? So I've got Wingtip Toys, which is sort of my prod directory, but I can also go and create, a testing directory or a development directory or a partner directory. So you can actually start to subdivide your organization very simply in the cloud just by, a couple clicks of a button. Creating a new directory is as easy as clicking the new button down here, and it takes about 5 seconds to complete. So it's pretty powerful, and for free, you get up to 500,000 objects in that directory. So even if you just wanted to play around with it today, you could do so very easily. So when I drill down into my production directory here, you'll see that I kind of get the full richness of the experience, and I get to manage all the different aspects of my cloud identity. So I'm going to just kind of start from the left here and kind of walk you through some of the different parts of this. So if I click on the Users tab here, you can see that I've integrated a bunch of different users in my organization. And you'll see that actually the source of these users is different in a lot of cases. So I've got a couple people who are Microsoft accounts, so user at live.com or at outlook.com. I've got people who have synced in from my local Active Directory. So Abby here, Alvin, all these different people, they're actually coming straight from an Active Directory that I have deployed here at Microsoft, and they're being synced and data is being updated from that directory up into the cloud automatically. It's a really neat scenario. It takes, I've set it up. It takes probably 15 minutes end to end to go from having a cloud Active Directory to starting the synchronization process between your local Active Directory and that cloud Active Directory. Pretty great stuff. But if you're not interested in doing that sync, you can also just create users straight away here in the directory by clicking this Add User button. Getting a new user set up is as easy as 1, 2, 3, quite literally. And then that user can sign in and access all of the resources that are secured by your directory in the cloud. Jim also mentioned group management. So this is part of our premium offering, and groups too can be synced from local Active Directory as well. So you can see here that a few of my groups are actually synced from local AD. The rest I've created in Azure Active Directory. And one of the really great features that we offer end users in an organization that's kind of pivoted around this group management scenario is the ability for users to create and manage their own groups. So if you've ever used FIM on-prem, you might have known something that we call the self-service group management. We do the exact same thing in the cloud. So an IW in your organization can go and create a project group and invite people and grant them access to resources that they own. So it's all about removing some of that burden from the IT admin and pushing it down to delegates in the business who have a better handle on what the business requirements are, who should be in the group, all those good things. So, users and groups are kind of the bread and butter, right? But really, it's what you can do with those users and groups that becomes really, really powerful. And one of the big things that we enable for you is the ability to grant single sign-on access to over 1,800 now. I know Jim mentioned 1,200 earlier, but actually it's over 1,800 SaaS applications. So you can see here that I've pre-integrated quite a few of them into my directory as it stands. I've got Concur, for example. I've got Amazon Web Services, all this good stuff. But adding a new application from the administrative side is as easy as choosing from a gallery experience. So if I come here and choose add an application from our gallery, you can see we have 1,891 pre-integrated SaaS applications across a ton of different genres. So the probability that your app is in here already is quite high. But we work very, very closely with our customers. Not only as evidenced by the fact that I'm here talking to you today, but also, we've got a bustling preview group with over 150 customers actively participating every day. And those people come and they tell us, hey, we want this new SaaS app. Can you give it to us? And we will literally take those requests and put them in the top of our priority list because, we're that focused on doing the right thing by our customers. So that's an opportunity that each and every one of you can take. All it requires is that you have an NDA signed with Microsoft, and you can kind of get access to some of the preview bits here and actually give us your feedback so we can continue to make this thing better for your purposes. So these 1,800 SaaS apps are all well and good, but we also recognize the fact that you probably have applications that you're developing that you want to integrate with this directory. They might be web apps, they might be native client apps. It doesn't matter. If you're developing an application and you want to expose it to your users and provide single sign-on using a single identity, it's very simple. You go here, you give your application a name, you choose a couple pieces of information about it, and you're up and running. As far as actually, the code you have to write, it's like a dozen lines of code. I mean, you just, you're basically telling us about your application so we can federate it with your Cloud Active Directory and provide all those great single sign-on experiences. And lastly, from the application management experience here, we just released something in preview which is super exciting. We call it the Cloud Web Application Proxy, and this is a way in which you can install a lightweight on-prem proxy to actually allow users to access your on-premises apps straight from the cloud in a secure manner while providing that great single sign-on experience. So, this is pretty huge because now you can start doing things like, providing mobile users access to those important apps which might have required them to be domain joined in the past. We provide all of the cool audit capabilities and security capabilities on top of that so you can ensure that users are doing the right thing when they're using these applications. SaaS app integration is one of the huge things, and just app integration in general. But we have a lot of other value-add type experiences. So I'll go over quickly to the Reports tab here just to show you a few things. Jim also mentioned this, kind of give you a quick overview. But let me actually show you, an example of one of these reports. So, for example, users with anomalous sign-in activity. If I drill down into this report, you'll be able to see that, I've got some test users here that I've done some evil things with. So, for example, I've actually signed in from a device that has a virus on it. So you can click here and actually see what the problem is with this particular device. You can see, okay, we detected that maybe there's, config on this thing. And what's really great about these reports is, it kind of gives you that high-level overview of what's going on in your org, but you can also go here and you can, mitigate straight from this UI. So if you see somebody who looks like they're coming from a bad location or they're signing in from a botnet or something like that, you can go and turn on multi-factor authentication for their device, for example, or you can go and reset their password so they can no longer access this information. It's a really great way for you to kind of get that insight into how your what your security posture is at a given point in time, and also be able to mitigate straight away from that simple UI. In the future, like the things we're looking at is like, hey, is there a way that we can auto mitigate this kind of stuff, right? So as Jim mentioned earlier, we have machine learning backed reports that take into account each one of our 16 billion weekly authentications against the directory, learn from those authentications, and then pass those learnings on to you as a, value. For example, we can detect when people are coming from botnet IP addresses, right? And we can say, hey, this guy's coming from a place that looks like, it's bad, so you should probably do something about it. Quite literally, that type of capability was not possible until relatively recently, when we started being able to do these heuristics across this huge set of data. So really, really interesting stuff, and we're looking to constantly improve in this area. Going back, Jim also mentioned some of the additional value add type stuff we offer. So if I go here into my configure tab, you can see that we've got a password reset. So you can configure how password reset works in your organization. We support lots of different gates for you today already. We're looking at doing things like Q&A gates and other type of contact methods to get your users unblocked. You can set a single or multi-gate policies. You can even force users to register when they come to access myapps.microsoft.com. So if you want to roll out password reset to your users, it's literally as easy as coming up here, turning it on, and requiring them to register, and then bam, as soon as they come to use your resources, they'll be asked to provide their phone number, their email address, and then they can use that to reset their passwords later. I mentioned we've got a full multi-factor authentication stack. I'll show you a quick demo of that in a second. You can manage things here about notifications, so you can get notified when anomalous events occur, email notifications, so you can stay on top of things that are going on in your organization. You can set how the application proxy works. You can also set different aspects of how self-service group management works. So really, you get a lot of rich control here as the administrator. But that's only half the story, right? So you've got all the great admin control, but what about users? Well, let me show you what that looks like. So I'm actually going to give you a quick demo of our end user experience here. If I go to myapps.microsoft.com, I'm going to sign in with one of my test accounts here, and you'll see that I actually have multi-factor authentication turned on for this account. And you also see that when I hit tab, I get this really great branded login experience. And this is another thing that you get with AAD Premium. You get to control kind of what your users see and feel when they interact with these capabilities. So you'll see here that I'm getting a phone call to verify my account. My phone will ring here in a second. And I'm going to answer the phone and actually hit the pound button. And once I hit the pound button, you'll see that I'm allowed to log in. So just like that, I did strong authentication, which granted me access to all of my great SaaS applications. Now, what's cool about that is, when a user gets that phone call, he actually hears a nice, woman on the phone saying, "Hey, hit the pound key if you're good to approve the sign-in attempt." But if they have problems with the sign-in attempt, they can actually report fraud, and you as the administrator can see those fraud reports and take action on, potentially compromised user accounts. So, the scenario being someone in some evil country somewhere gains access to your CEO's account. He gets a phone call in the middle of the night. Somebody's trying to access his, his stuff. He says, "Hey, this isn't me." So he reports fraud, and then the next day the administrator can take action, maybe resetting the password or doing things like that. Here as kind of the information worker experience, I get access to all my different SaaS applications right here on the Access panel. We've got an iPhone application that does very much the same thing. We also are releasing an Android application very, very shortly, with Windows Phone coming soon thereafter. And just to show you, how easy it is to do SSO into some of these apps. If I click on Salesforce here, I'm going to get redirected to the Salesforce login screen and be logged in straight away without having to do anything else. And what the great thing about some of these richly integrated apps like Salesforce is that you as the administrator can actually say, like, "Hey, I have a group of users in my organization who need to be a certain role in Salesforce. So I'm going to map that group of users as a Salesforce administrator role or a Salesforce chatter user role, for example." And then when users join or leave that group, they automatically get access to Salesforce. And if they get removed from your company for whatever reason, we actually automatically deprovision them from Salesforce as well. So you get the peace of mind that your users are getting access to the right things at the right time, and that when they leave the company, they no longer have access to these sensitive resources. So it's a pretty cool story. Quickly, just to show you some of the other features we have here, self-service group management. So I can go here and create my own group. It'll show up in the cloud directory, and I can make access control decisions based off of the membership in that group. I can also approve requests to join groups that I own. So if I create a group and then some Joe user wants to join it to get access to something that, my project or something like that, I can be notified of approvals that come across here and immediately act on them. I can also come here to my profile and see my profile information. I can change my password. I can set up my MFA rules down here. I can even register for password reset just by clicking this little button. Like I said, we have kind of this great admin control experience, and giving you some of the insight into how people are using these applications and what security looks like in your organization through the Azure Management Portal. But we also have this really cool information worker pivoted experience where they get all the value of the things that you set up. I've taken about 15 minutes here to go through this demo, and I think actually Jim wanted to leave the last 15 minutes or so for questions and answers. But I'd just like to say that thanks again for letting me show you some of this stuff. We're super excited about these capabilities. We're building stuff literally every 1 to 6 weeks. I mean, you come over here to Microsoft and you talk to some of the feature teams, and they're literally pushing new code into these environments every week. If you report a bug, if you see a problem, if you need a feature, you let us know, and that's as quickly as we can react to some of this stuff. So it's a really great story for us as engineers. It's also a great story for our customers. And I'd also like to encourage you guys, hey, if you're interested in learning more, if you're interested in participating in our preview programs, I'd love to be in contact with you to help you through that process. So I think, Jim, I'm done with my spiel. If you want to kind of open it up for questions and answers, I think this would be a good time.
I was just wondering, how do you charge for the Active Directory Premium? What's the charge, and is it per domain? Is it per user? Could you please address that?
Sure. The way that Azure Active Directory Premium is charged is it can be purchased as a part of your existing enterprise agreement, or it can be added to your existing, or it can be just purchased standalone. The typical charge is about $6 per user per month for the Azure Active Directory Premium. You can also look at it as part of Microsoft recently announced a new package called their Enterprise Mobility Suite, or EMS, because we needed another acronym. We didn't have enough. The Enterprise Mobility Suite is made up of Azure Active Directory Premium, as well as the Intune for desktop management. And finally, it includes Azure Directory Rights Management Solution. And you can get all three pieces of that for about $12 per user per month. It's a very significant recent ad from Microsoft. So thank you for the question. Do we have any more questions out there?
Yes, we do. We'll go to Imran Begia. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Hi, this is Imran from Vista. So it sounds like this is an SSO killer. Products like Okta and OneLogin and Simplified. Can you share your thoughts on that? If companies have any of these existing, third-party SSOs, should they be looking at, Azure Active Directory?
Hello, Imran. Adam, I'll let you go ahead and talk to it, please.
Sure. So, I love the term killer. I mean, we're obviously, this is a very competitive space. I think, yes, of course, we would love for people to use Azure AD for their SSO needs. We do recognize that there are lots of other SSO providers out there, but I think Azure AD Premium provides a couple key advantages. The first is the level of rich integration we can do with industry standard directories on premise, including just the ability to richly integrate with AD on-prem as well as ADFS, but also some of the scenarios we're working on, which is to provide really rich synchronization experiences across non-Active Directory directories, whether they be a SQL server or SQL database, whether they be Domino, kind of the things that we know everybody's using in the industry. I think we have a really great story there because, quite frankly, we've been doing that for over a decade. Back with MIIS, ILM, and FIM, we've had these great synchronization capabilities that we've built out over time, and they kind of stand alone in terms of the richness of integration you can do there. So, and the second thing is really, we have a lot of, we've made a lot of investments in some of the kind of, machine learning and cloud, like some of the things that make the cloud really interesting, right? So you can do SSO to applications, that's all well and good, but if you can do SSO to applications and then provide the admin deep insight into the problems his organization might be facing or how users are using that those applications, where you might be able to save money by reducing application licenses because only 20% of users are using them, or, where you might be able to patch some maybe security vulnerabilities in your environment. I mean, we're really investing heavily on not only giving the base capabilities, but also giving you all of the tools that you need to effectively manage those things. So, we think we offer a pretty compelling solution on the SSO side by itself, but we also offer a lot of these, value add type of things, which we feel sets ourselves apart. So we'd love for you guys to, to consider us when you're looking at those different options.
Okay, and should companies be looking at this as a part of their, high availability strategy as well, given that it, the AD is in the cloud, in case they have issues with their local infrastructure and their local domain controllers. So can this be looked upon as a high availability strategy for still, continuing to provide authentication for the cloud applications?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, we have capabilities today where you can already start to leverage some of those things, right? So I'll give you an example. We have a feature with our directory sync capability called password hash sync, which allows you to keep passwords up to date from your on-premises directory up into the cloud. And so this means if you secure access to a SaaS application, and for whatever reason your on-premises federation service or what have you is down, you can still access those applications by logging in with the same password and same user ID, but using our cloud authentication stack. In addition to this, I mentioned the password sync from one direction. We actually have the other direction too. So if you want to do password reset and you want to reset on-premises passwords, we support that as well. And you could argue that that's also kind of a high availability capability because now you no longer have to run, your on-prem password reset service to manage this. We take care of it for you. So yeah, we do think there's definitely an HA pivot there. Although I think, from our perspective, we're really focusing on the additional value that we can add on top of your existing Active Directory deployments with the Azure AD solution.
Okay.
Hey, Adam, there were a few questions that came through in the chat window, so I'm going to interrupt you for a second so I can just take a look at those. One, several of them have already been asked for. There's a question out there about is this a replacement for ADFS? The short answer is if you're utilizing ADFS just for Office 365 authentication, it certainly is plus. If you're doing serious SAML callouts to other third-party applications, and you're doing inter-domain connectivity to business partners and that type of thing, this is not a replacement for that yet. It may be in the future, but right now this is specifically focused on authentication into different application sets. Adam, is there anything you would like to add to that, or did I answer the question incorrectly? I don't think so, but I figured I'd ask you.
No, I think yeah, you touched on some great points there. The one thing I'd like to add is that this doesn't mean that we won't play nice with ADFS deployments that you might already have. So you can kind of choose what the right thing for your organization is. If you don't want to use ADFS, password hash sync is a great alternative to that. It'll keep your passwords up to date. And in conjunction with the password write-back capability, you've got that full two-way password synchronization capability going on there. But, that doesn't mean that if you have ADFS and you want to continue to use it, that we won't work. You can continue to federate with us. Users can continue to, authenticate against your ADFS and access all the great, SaaS apps that we can secure with SSO. So just want to make sure that you understand that, hey, it's kind of your call in terms of what's best for your organization here.
Yep. Most of the other questions were answered. There was one specifically related to a client who apparently recently purchased a couple of Store Simple appliances. They're utilizing Store Simple. For those of you that may not be familiar, are on-premise iSCSI-based storage area networks that are natively integrated into Azure. They utilize data tiering as well as doing snapshot-based backups from the on-premise device up into the Azure world. They do it every 4 hours, 8 hours, 24, whatever, you can set it up. But more importantly, they do data tearing. So as data ages, it moves from the front end of the SAN on SSD to the back end, which is SAS, and then finally into the Azure storage, utilizing Meta as the pointer. So you double-click on a file, no matter where it is, it's made available to you very quickly. And the client's comment was, we noticed after that we're also on Office 365. We noticed after that that our Active Directory is in Azure. Just so you know, Azure has been the behind-the-scenes directory solution for Office 365 for quite some time. It's now becoming more and more something that people are using. And so no, you don't have to do anything on your part. The things you can do, however, is, as Adam showed you a little bit before, you can actually log into your Azure account and possibly take a look at like the Azure Active Directory that we're looking at now, and some of the other offerings that are available. So I hope that answers your question. To get the self-service password reset, you do have to look at the Azure Active Directory Premium. Let's see. Can the logging activity be sent to a SELM for correlation? I know that data can be downloaded into CSV. I'm not sure if it can be automatically sent to a SELM solution. Adam, do you know that by any chance, or is it something where we'd either have to put a batch drop the bullet?
Yeah, this is like SIEM solutions, like on-prem.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, so those are, yes. So first of all, right now, the answer is, we don't support integration there. However, we are investing heavily in that area. So, in fact, if you have particular requirements here around SIEM integration, please send me an email, and I will connect you with the program manager who's responsible for that. She's gathering requirements now in terms of customers who need to be able to do this kind of stuff. And we'd love to learn more about your particular scenarios. So, yeah. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is we're working on it, and we'll have something there. We don't have anything at the moment.
Great, thank you, Mr. Moderator Guy. If you would please move me back to the presenter. We are coming up at, it is 3 o'clock, and basically. The slideshow the slide that will show up will have some contact information on it. We will be posting the recording from today's session on the website in the next probably day or so. And we'd be happy to have the opportunity to have some further conversations with you. 3 o'clock. Now I wanted to thank everybody for their time.